Okay, so we talked about political ramifications of this. One of them is that three very well-respected military people have turned on Donald Trump. Colin Powell, James Mattis, former Secretary of Defense, and John Kelly, former Chief of Staff. All three have turned on Donald Trump. Here's General Powell.
I'm very close to Joe Biden on a social matter and on a political matter. I've worked with him for 35, 40 years, and he is now the candidate, and I will be voting for him.
All right, but Powell did not vote for Trump last time around. Powell doesn't like Trump. And Mattis and Kelly despise Donald Trump. It's all personal with these guys. And they may have good reasons to despise him. They might. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I know it's all personal because these guys are saying, well, Trump threatens to bring in the military and that's unconstitutional. Number one, that's not true, and they know it. All three generals know it's not true. Donald Trump could bring in the military if he thinks they are necessary. And it was done in 1967 in Detroit. President Johnson brought in the 82nd and 101 Airborne Divisions to quell the riots there. It was done in 1968 after the assassination of Martin Luther King. Again, LBJ brought in the U.S. military to protect the Capitol, Washington, D.C. And it was done by Bush the Elder after the Rodney King riots in L.A. He brought in the military. So what Donald Trump initially said was, if the governors and mayors cannot protect the people in their states and cities, then I will. And I'll bring in the military to do it. That seems to be pretty logical to me. If the governor and mayor can't or won't protect you, living wherever you are, the president is the last line. As Harry Truman said, the buck stops here. Everybody knows that he has the power to do it. He didn't do it. But if, say, the Lincoln Memorial were being dismantled in D.C. and the mayor, who's an ardent leftist and hates Trump, ordered her people not to stop it, yeah, Trump's going to bring in the military to stop it. Not going to allow it. So again, this is not what it seems to be. Mattis and Kelly and Powell despise Donald Trump. They think he's bad for the country. That's fine with me. That's their opinion. They've served the country honorably. All three men have. But don't tell me it's based on a bogus thing that he's not allowed to use the military. That's not true. Be straight up, General Mattis. Say, I don't like him. I work with him and I don't like him, and here's why. Don't give me this bogus Constitution stuff. Washington Post, a hate Trump outfit, took a very benign statement by the president and lied about it. First, the president's statement. Go.
Equal justice under the law must mean that every American receives equal treatment in every encounter with law enforcement, regardless of race, color, gender, or creed. They have to receive fair treatment from law enforcement. They have to receive it. We all saw what happened last week. We can't let that happen. Hopefully George is looking down right now and saying this is a great thing that's happening for our country.
The drive toward equal justice is what the president was referring to. Okay? Obviously. That's why he invoked George Floyd's name. The Washington Post reported that Trump was saying George Floyd would have liked the resurgence in the economy. That is a lie. That's what was in the newspaper and got out to cable news everywhere. You may have heard it. Then the Washington Post was confronted with the lie and had to issue this retraction. Quote, a previous version of this story incorrectly said that the president called the jobs report a great day for George Floyd, the black man killed by white police in Minneapolis. In fact, the president was referring to growing calls for equal justice under the law, unquote. Okay. Now, Washington Post doesn't make mistakes like that. The reporter involved is Jeff Stein, who hates Trump. What is Stein doing on the economic beat if he hates Trump? That's the problem. I just can't tell you the corruption that we're all witnessing in this country. There's a journalist named Andrew Sullivan, and he really encapsulated it in a tweet. Quote, "The truth is, a critical mass of mainstream journalists do not want to reflect or report on anything that they might disagree with. They see opposing views as violence and the attempt at objectivity a cover for white supremacy. They are a disgrace." That's exactly what's happening. And if you dissent, they'll tear you to pieces like they did with Drew Brees.